Hey guys, it's your boy Mr. 10K, aka Humble Beast K, back with another video, man. And today we're gonna be talking about something very important. But I want to stop real quick. I just want y'all to look at the 90 real quick. As my boy CJ Cut says, look at the 90. Man, shout out to my boy Ian first and foremost, man, for the cut. But y'all can see it's a little bit of changes with me, man. I got a new smile. No more braces, you know what I'm saying? No more braces, so new smile. But I really just want to talk to y'all, man, about something very, very important. And I think this is really the biggest focus in today's world. And there's a lot that's gone on since I haven't been here. And I just want to tell you guys that I love you guys and I hope you guys are doing well, because there's so much going on in the world. But I do want you guys to know you're not alone. And if you can, please reach out to someone, get help, contact your friends, guys. Don't forget that your friends are always near and dear, and they're always very close, man. They're always very close. It's call, text away, and please call your friends, y'all. Like it's also on the other end too. Like you gotta call your friends, you gotta text them, you gotta contact them, man, because you never know what they're going through. Even family members, even just people that you care about, you know, contact them, make sure they're okay. But I want to talk to you guys about, man, a thing I had to learn, a thing that you guys may have already learned, but for me it was very important in my life, and I hope you guys take some away from this video. But before we get into it, man, please leave a like, comment, and subscribe if you're new to the crew, where we are always accepting new members, man. We are a family over here. And look at everything in the description down below. Follow, like, you know, do everything, man. Follow my social medias, 10K Sneaks, all that great stuff, man. Come get some sneakers, and you can stay in tune with me over on Instagram, man. If you don't know, we always use the phone and of course for the mic, man. But yes, that was my element that I'm missing. But guys, I want to talk to you guys again about, man, just understanding that things don't always go as you plan them. Sometimes you just have to stay down, man. You know, sometimes people aren't going to understand you. Sometimes people just are going to do their own things. Life is going to go how it goes. You know, life is life, and that's typically how things go, man. But I want to just tell you guys, man, that like you got to realize that there are things in life that, again, you ultimately just cannot control. And one thing you always have to say to yourself is, what steps can I take to just maintain my peace and maintain my happiness, and not trying to control everything? Because there comes a point in time where if you force things too much, whatever it is, things will end up, man, taking a turn for the worst. And you don't want to do that. You want to continuously just remember, like, everything is in a process. Things take time. Things don't always go the way that you plan them. And that's when you plan more, though. And sometimes we just come up short. There are lessons in coming up short. There are lessons in not forcing things either. After certain work, after you do certain things, whether it be things to improve you, things to, you know, help whatever it is that you're going through. Like for the longest time, I think the thing that I've struggled with, man, is me just feeling like I have to be able to be heard. I have to really get my way all the time to be heard, and I have to like do things a certain way for me to be heard. And, you know, oftentimes when we're having conversations with people, things can go a nasty way. And when I say nasty, I mean the more conflicting way. Based on how, man, you just, again, how you can try to dictate something. Or if you try and say, hey, I see that viewpoint, I didn't understand that. And, you know, oftentimes, like I say, man, we get into this psyche where we feel like, man, a person ain't hearing us if it's not going the way that we want it to. And truth be told, you can't force people to understand you no matter what you do. You really can't. Sometimes what has to happen is people have to go through a set of things. People have to take a step back. You have to take a step back to realize certain things. Like, I think about it all the time where I'm talking to people I love, and that hurts me sometimes, man. And it can hurt. I know it can hurt them, and it can hurt y'all too when y'all talking to y'all loved ones about, and people you just love, about things that you feel you should be heard on, and they just don't hear you the way that you feel they should hear you, man. And I get that. Like, I know that feeling. But one thing I will say, man, is When they don't hear you, it's okay to be frustrated. It's okay to be upset. Embrace that. But take a step back, man. And say what you got to say. Always be respectful about it. That's something I'm trying to work through too, is being more respectful in how I say things. I'm not perfect in saying everything. I'm not going to sit up here and tell you guys I'm the perfect person that, I don't always come disrespectful. Like, sometimes I've been disrespectful, and sometimes I've done things that I'm not proud of. Like, I can be outlandish. I can do things that, man, like, I could have took a step back and I could have said something way better. You know what I'm saying? Like, you gotta just take steps back sometimes, man, because not everything is always gonna go your way. So that's what I would tell y'all, man. Just allow somebody to breathe. Allow yourself to breathe, so that way you won't possibly yell or even curse somebody out, or, just keep consistently going back and forth with someone and then making a situation bigger than it is, man. Like, you don't want to do that. And I'm quite sure you would want to, have a conversation with somebody and it be fluent. And if you're still in disagreements, that's fine. But it was a fluent conversation. It wasn't a conversation that ended up in conflict or y'all fighting or going back and forth. You don't want to do that. You know what I'm saying? So that's why I say, give yourself some time, give another person some time, and don't force it, man. Don't force the conversation. Don't force what you're trying to have heard or, put out there to someone, onto someone. You see what I'm saying? So you got to just take a step back and remember, man, things just don't always go your way. Sometimes you also, for me, what I think about oftentimes is remembering that you did do something good. If you know that you had good intent behind whatever you were doing, then that's fine. Remain in the good intent. I will always say remain in the good intent of what you've done, because the good intent, believe it or not, is something you can reflect on and say, I had good intentions, but I could have done it better. But at least I had good intent. And if you say, okay, I did it from a good intent standpoint, you can get to a point where you can say, okay, this didn't go my way, but all right, we're just going to agree to disagree. I had good intentions behind it. And not all the time is it about your intentions, but you can reflect on that. Don't throw it in anybody's face and say, well, I had good intentions behind it. Well, I meant this. It's not about intention when it comes to telling somebody this is what you meant to do, this is what you're trying to do, when you're having a conversation with them to even try and be heard, get your point across. And you don't want to do that, man. You just don't want to do that. You're going to end up having yourself in a hole of trying to figure out, like, man, like, I'm doing so good, but that person just doesn't see. People just don't see. Listen, it doesn't go that way. You can't force your good intent upon people. It just doesn't work. It just doesn't work, And I'm not going to say, like, I haven't done it myself. I've tried to do it myself, and it doesn't work. It doesn't work. That's why I'm telling you guys, don't do it. I know by experience. I know by trying to give it a shot myself, and it hasn't worked. And I oftentimes notice when you apologize too, because sometimes those conflicts arise after you have those conversations and all that. Those conflicts can even come into play. And what happens is you have an argument and you say after a while, like, man, I apologize. I just meant to. Don't put the intention in there. Because if you going to apologize, you apologize, in my opinion, you apologize with just saying, I'm sorry. I did this. I see what I did. I see it from your viewpoint. Even if you don't, because later you might realize, and even if you still don't, just know that you're hurting yourself more than you're hurting that person apologizing with intent. Intent is not, it's not gonna win you a conversation, not gonna have you more heard. It's really not. So what I will tell you guys, man, is just don't go off the intent, but reflect on it. You only. Don't throw it in anyone's face. Don't go off of your intent. Just reflect and have that reflection just be for you. And again, like I said, it all goes back to forcing everything. Forcing your way into so much can put you in situations that you just don't need to be in. You notice oftentimes people that force themselves into things end up into situations that they thought they'd never be in. So why would you want to be in a situation you never thought you'd be in? I'd tell you 9 times out of 10, don't do it. Don't try and force your way. Just honestly, just say, hey, I want to do this. I think this can go that way. I recommend this. And that's all you can do. That's all you can do. Don't force it. Try, but don't force. Forcing is saying like, nah, you got to do it this way, or man, nah, do it. No. Try. Just say, I recommend. Give it a shot. You deserve this. Maybe you should try this. I think you can give it that instead of demanding someone to do something, or trying to, again, when you're going through your own process, if you're always pressing a button on your mind and say, man, I'm doing this now, you probably rushing a process that doesn't even need to be rushed. It may just take some time, and that's just how it goes. Sometimes that's just how life goes. It goes in process. It goes in time constraints. It goes in a lot of just steps and keys, man. And in order for you to unlock certain doors, you have to take the steps. You got to walk through the door and not just rush into it. If you rush into it, you probably hit your head in the whole nine. And what I mean by that, man, is if you have the keys to your process, you will unlock the doors of your success. But how can you obtain those keys if you're trying to force your way in? If you're trying to force your way in to even obtain those keys, how do you get the key? You think of a house, for example, right? A house that's already built, right? Let's say you need the keys to the house. How are you going to get the house? Sometimes you got to ask for permissions, right? There are certain permissions. There's maybe even a landlord you got to go through. Think of the permissions in the landlord in this scenario that I'm speaking of. Think of it as your process, right? Think of it as the permissions. Think of it as the recommendations. Instead of brute force with, oh, nah, I'm getting through the door. I don't even have the keys. I'm just going to bust through the doors. Then you're going to cause a situation. You can cause yourself to get hurt, right? Because you tried to bombard into a place that honestly wasn't even meant to be, and you might even get yourself in trouble. So you got to have those keys, man. You got to have those keys of, again, processes first, and taking a step back first, and recommendations first, and I thinks first, versus just a brute force attempt to get into the door of what you want to get across, what you want to be successful in, what you want to do, what you're trying to portray to someone. It doesn't work unless you have those keys. And again, gotta get those keys to the process. Once you do that, there you go. You'll be successful every time. Don't take what you're saying, what you're doing for granted. Your efforts are appreciated. I want you guys to know that. Your efforts are appreciated, whether they be by you, whether they be by another person. But even at that, as I always tell you guys in this series, that you have to love yourself and appreciate what you're doing first, right? This is why I say reflect on your intention. Because if you're able to value what you're doing, then you'll realize that the force really isn't even needed, that the force shouldn't even be there in the first place. Why would you even go through that? Why do you need to go through that? Don't have yourself go through that. Don't push yourself to go that way. I would say always just remember what you're doing, what you're trying to do, but don't throw it in anyone's face. Don't force it. Just let it be. Just let it be. Do what you can. Ultimately, that's all we can do is just what we can. We can't do everything the way that we want it to be. Life just doesn't go that way. And I know it hurts. I know it's a struggle. I know it's pain. Like, man, I want it to be this way. I hate that it's not this way. I hate that it's this way. Don't throw a pity party for yourself. Just know that things can get better. Know that things can work out for the better. Things can work out in your favor when you go through the process, when you take your time, when you realize that I can't force it, but I tried in a way that was more calculated, more strategic, more by patience. When you understand that, then you'll be better off. You'll realize everything that you wanted is going your way and is gone in due time rather than an instant gratification. And that's also a problem, y'all. I think right now a lot of people are trying to find instant gratification, instant resources, such as money, such as clothes, such as a home, such as food. These are things that, of course, we need, but sometimes they aren't to be rushed. It takes a process. It takes time to obtain the real things that we want in life, the real goals, the real points of our livelihood that we want to obtain. You know, it takes time. It takes time. But ultimately realize it's steps. It's steps, patience, time, and again, not trying to have brute force, but going through the process and then having the access in due time. So, y'all, I just want to say, keep y'all heads up, stay level, man, out here. Keep the balance more importantly, man, because balance is key to not forcing things. Realizing that I gotta maintain my peace, and if I try and force something, I'm gonna cut my peace in half or in total, and you gonna damage yourself bad, man. It's a lot of people damaging themselves every day. I'm seeing people break down over things they trying to force, and you can't force it. You can't force anything but what you're trying to do for yourself, or if it's something that you truly need to do in an immediate time. And you know what that is. You know what that is. So don't force anything. Don't rush your process. Take your time. Maintain your patience. Do your best, man. And don't throw your intentions in nobody's face. Just do your best. And remember what you're doing. And remember why you're doing it. That'll always help you get to where you want to be. That's patience. That's humbling yourself. Remembering why you started. Remember why you did something in the first place. Love and appreciate that. If nobody else does, you gotta love that. That's what I believe. And I hope you believe it too. But man, I love you guys. Keep your head up. Stay level out here. Like I said, man, patience, steps to success. Take your time, and in due time, things will work out, man. And it's been your boy, Mr. 10K, aka Humble Beast K. I'll see you guys on the next video.